Our goal with this movement is to hit the iliac portion of the glute max, which is the upper and outer portion. In order to hit this division in its lengthened position, we want to make sure that we're starting with tension on the muscle. So we want to start with the pulley set about hip height or just a little bit higher, so that as we bring the knee up, there's constant tension and the ball stop is never running into the pulley. It's also important that we're using an ankle strap with a strap that goes underneath the foot so that we can push down and into that strap on each rep. Allow the knee to bend and come up to about a 90-degree angle on each rep. And we're also going to be bringing the knee in towards the midline on each rep. So as you bring the knee up, think about driving the knee more towards the belly button. This allows that iliac portion of the glutes to get nice and lengthened at the top of the movement. And then as we kick back, we are allowing a little bit of hip abduction to happen. So we're not just kicking straight back, but it's back and slightly open with the hip. Notice how my toe is pointing slightly out. Here's a view from directly behind as I'm doing my reps. So notice how my planted foot is just slightly to the side, almost exactly in line, but slightly to the left of the pulley. And then my working leg, my working knee is coming towards the midline of my body. Also notice the slight hip abduction or the slight out with the foot as I kick back, but it's not too dramatic. Notice that my hips are staying square to the floor. There's not a bunch of movement happening there. There's not a bunch of tilting happening there. Lastly, notice that my leg is following the path of the cable, both as I kick back and as I bring the knee up. The knee isn't going out to the side and away from the cable. Everything is staying in a nice line throughout the entire movement. All right, let's finish up with some setup tips. So I prefer to put the kickback strap on the ground and then lift my leg up and connect it to the cable. I just find that that's the easiest. And then notice that I am using a bench for stability here. This is gonna allow you to do so much more load and really allow us to bias the portion of the glute that we're wanting to bias without worrying about falling over and instability and all of that jazz. Essentially what I've done here is just pulled a bench up close to the cable machine a couple of feet away and directly in the center of that bar that I'm using the pulley from. So I can do my left and my right side without having to move the bench. With this setup, we really don't need to be standing on anything. If your foot is running into the floor, it could be that you're going too light, or it could be that you're just kicking straight down and not down and back. I do really love the stability that a bench provides on this exercise, but if you don't have access to one, you can't snag one, you can't drag one over to the cable machine, whatever it is, then you can use a PVC pipe like I have here. Most gyms will have these. If not, they probably have some sort of stick or post that you can use in a similar fashion.